One of the things Russell Brand says in his talk is that the conspiracy against him, the construct where the BBC, where the government departments have contacted media platforms to tell them to deplatform him or to demonetize him, is a part of the online safety bill context. Is in the context. You may know that this happens in the context of the online safety bill, which is a piece of UK legislation that grants sweeping surveillance and censorship powers, and it's a law that has already been passed. It's not quite correct. The law has now finished. It's been signed off by both houses of Parliament and will become law soon. It is not law at this moment. The government says that the UK will become the safest place in the world to be online by placing new duties on social media companies, and that this is part of the government's manifesto commitment. The bolstered bill has been strengthened through debate with firmer protections for children, more control for adults, clarity for social platforms. It finished its final hurdle on the 19th of September. It hasn't received royal assent yet, so Brand is slightly anticipating reality there. But it is due and ready to become law. This is supposed to produce the most powerful child protection laws in a generation, and to ensure adults are better empowered to take control of their online lives. It's supposed to protect mental health. But the statement by Juvenal all those years ago in ancient Rome, who watches the watchers? And when we look at the watchers, when we look at the chaos of Ofcom, when we look at the chaos of our present government, and we think these are the custodians of our online safety, that makes me extremely worried. When I look at the Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the various ones that we've had, from Matt Hancock, I'm not going to even attempt a Frankie Howard impression, to Lucy Fraser at the moment, passing through Oliver Dowden, yes, he, and Nadine Dorries, yes, she. These are the people whose hands have been on that online safety bill, and these are the people that we trust to guide us through to online safety and zero tolerance approach to protecting children. Well, I'm not sure there is such a thing as zero tolerance. I think that's called bullying, isn't it? Or censorship, or repression. And I think we saw something similar to this in Section 28, all those years back in the 1980s. And it's one of those key bills which damaged Thatcher's reputation beyond repair. And I think it's also something that we can see if we were to go over to Russia. The Putin's bill, Putin's law, which prohibits the promulgation of non-natural lifestyles through the media in any form. It's led to book burning. It's led to book pulping in the 21st century. It's led to pages censored in libraries. It's led to authors being deplatformed. The only way to preserve and to ensure our children's moral safety is to give them access and to guide them to discernment so that they can make an informed choice that this is wrong. To hide things from people, to shield people in that way, is to deny them the powers to protect themselves when these rotten images, when these rotten ideas are imposed upon them. Now, I happen to think that the law of President Putin and Section 28 were deeply and morally wrong, repugnant. I'm very supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. I actually think there is such a thing as the LGBTQ plus community. I don't think it's something that parades in the street. I don't think it's defined by that. I think it's defined by a sense of difference. And difference is something that we all, in different forms, in various forms, treasure. Sometimes we call difference individuality. Sometimes we call it courage. Sometimes we call it defiance and bloody-mindedness. But it's about being unique. And we don't aspire to be the herd. We don't aspire to be the same. We aspire to be different, to be better, to stand out. And at the same time, and this is why we have two hands, I believe. On the one hand, we aspire to be different. On the other hand, we aspire to live in community and be part of one another. And that means helping one another, protecting one another. It means watching out for one another. And I don't believe that the online safety bill is the way forward. I don't believe that removing online illegal content is possible. I think it will just go underground. I don't think we can prevent people from accessing harmful content. I don't think we can enforce age limits and age checking measures, particularly with VPNs. I think the greatest risk to children is not to empower them with discernment and to give them the false impression that the internet is a safe place. The internet is a dangerous place and we need to be on our guard. And I think also the way the various systems work in platforms like YouTube, the algorithm, locks us into an idea that we hear what we want to hear. And maybe for a short period, the British government will hear what it wants to hear, but it is fake. And I'm sorry we've wasted so much time in this process. If we want to have an online safety system, that has to be an internationally agreed system, not a system imposed by one nation in some sort of knee-jerk, censorious fashion. That is called censorship. And it's already well established in Russia.